Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. You've got a story to share, a message to inspire, and a passion ready to ignite. But where do you start? The world is waiting for your voice. With From Idea to Implementation, Start Your Own Podcast, you'll get the roadmap to turn your vision into reality. This isn't just a course, it's your launching pad. Step by step, we'll break down the process from defining your purpose to recording your first episode so you can finally share your voice with confidence. Stop overthinking it and start doing it. Your voice has the power to connect and lead. Are you ready to use it? Join the waitlist today. Your podcast journey starts now. The world is waiting. You can find the link to sign up for the waitlist in the show notes. We'll see you soon. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Alicia Boateng. She is the founder and owner of Alicia Boateng Designs, a brand consultant, a speaker, a mother of four, and a wife. Welcome, Alicia. How are you doing today?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited and honored to have you here. So with that being said, let's jump right in. Can you tell us how long ago you started Alicia Boateng Designs and what Alicia Boateng Designs is all about?
So Alicia Boateng Designs was started in 2019, May of 2019. And the message behind Alicia Boateng Designs is to empower women to feel beautiful, to feel confident, to be comfortable in their own skin.
I love that. And so I know there's a story behind the company. Yes. Through previous conversation. Can you share with us a little bit about what the inspiration was and the story behind starting the company?
Yes. For my birthday, my husband bought me a Cricut machine. And for those that don't know what the Cricut machine is, it cuts vinyl, right? Okay. So I said, okay, I'm going to put vinyl on absolutely everything. If you move, if you breathe, if you talk, I'm putting vinyl on you. So then we decided that was around May when he bought me that machine. And then later on, a couple of months later on, we decided we were going to open up a pop-up shop at the mall for the holidays. I had spent countless months and weeks and months doing all these little cute designs and decorations and all of that stuff. But what happened was that I am obsessed with coffee. And because I am obsessed with coffee, I was having coffee with my husband one morning. I said, if my coffee cup was as enriching as my coffee is, mind you, I've been drinking the same brand for 32 years now.
Wow. That's loyalty.
It is. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I definitely have tried other brands, but I always come back to that. I don't really give the other brands too much of an opportunity, to be honest. And so I got a piece of paper and I started writing down how I wanted my coffee cup to make me feel, which is rather different.
Yes.
A coffee cup like that. No. And so I started in my previous life, as I like to say, I was a wedding and event planner. So I always have little crafts and little things around the house. And I had some gemstones and some glue. And I started creating what the beginning of Alicia Boateng Designs would be. And I created a cup. And I put it on social media. And then 2 weeks later, we had the pop-up shop. And so what happened was that the first 2 weeks that the shop was open, people came asking me for the cup. And I said, no, this is not what I'm selling. But I have all these beautiful other decorations. So after 2 weeks of having at least 3 to 5 people a day come to the shop asking me for the cup.
Yeah.
I realized this is what I need to be selling. I need to be selling the cups. So I actually started making the cups while at the shop.
Okay.
And as in branding, they tell you what you are. Yes. And so they told me what they wanted.
Yeah.
And that is how Alicia Boateng Designs, the company that you know today, was born.
Beautiful. Listen to the people. They're telling you what they want.
Yes.
So you got to give it to them.
Absolutely.
So I know you just mentioned briefly that you were a wedding and event planner. So can you tell us a little bit about that and what the catalyst was for the shift into the business Alicia Boateng Designs, what that catalyst was for that shift?
So I started the wedding planning. I actually started making cakes when I was 18 years old with my best friend. And obviously it was a little side gig that we had and so forth. And when I was 21, I decided, okay, I'm going to officially make this a business. Because what happened was that when we would go deliver the cakes, whether it be a party or a wedding or whatever, at that point, the bride or the client would always ask us to stay and put out the favors and make sure that everything looked nice. And after continuously seeing the same vendors every weekend, one of them, a florist actually, are you getting paid for this? I'm like, I didn't even know you can get paid for this. Because of that, that's how I got into the wedding planning. That's how I got into the wedding planning.
And so what was the shift into Alicia Boateng Designs? Like, what was that catalyst for that shift for you?
I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second. Okay. I'm trying to shut my phone down and it won't cooperate. I'm so technically challenged. You have no idea. Like seriously, my phone, I'll try to turn it off and it won't turn off. I apologize for that. I hope you're able to edit that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right. So what happened was that I did the wedding and event planning for over 20 years. And I was able to achieve all the goals that I had set out for the wedding and event planning. And then I got offered a position that I couldn't turn down. I got offered the position for director of catering for what is now known as the Ritz-Carlton in Bal Harbour, which is a very affluent neighborhood. And back then it was called One Bal Harbour. It was privately owned. And again, very affluent customers. And I couldn't pass up that opportunity. It was just a wonderful opportunity. I love the behind the scenes. And that position allowed me to really dig in and see what it is that goes in behind. I was always on the other side of the parties. So now I really got to see what happened behind the scenes. So I was there for about 2 years. And then they got bought out by a property management company. And when they get bought out, they usually do away with everybody and bring in their own team, which is understandable. I then went on to work at another high-end venue in South Beach. And then the final opportunity that I had during hospitality was that I got recruited to be a part of the pre-opening team for the Thompson Hotel in Miami Beach. And that was the ultimate amazing opportunity challenge because I literally got to see the hotel being built from the ground up.
Right.
And the management team was amazing because they really did involve the team members in every single direct opportunities that they had. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then I met my husband. And then when I met my husband, I'm sorry, you see what I'm telling you? I turned it off and this thing keeps turning back on. Okay, sorry. So when I met my husband, we both agreed that being in the hospitality industry in that realm was very labor intensive, lots of long hours. We are a blended family. And so we decided that I was going to give that up, which I was more than happy to because by that time I had already been in the business for almost 30 years. I was perfectly okay with that. And then we decided that we were going to get into real estate. So in 2014, literally we met in 2014. And a month after we met, I said, okay, we're going to build a corporation, whatever God wants, however he wants to take it, we'll take it. And we're going to build a corporation and then we're going to build under the corporation. That's going to be our umbrella. And we're going to just build different entities on that. And that's what we did. And that's how Team Boateng, the real estate portion of it, was born.
Okay. Now, I know, again, from previous conversation with you, you have gotten your mugs into some pretty big names out there in the world, into their hands. Can you share a few of those names? And how did you manage to get the visibility for the mugs into those hands?
Yes, I've been on Good Morning America. I've been on the Today Show. I've been featured on Forbes. I've been on The View. That's what I call my Academy Award. I've been on local stations as well. I have been mentioned by celebrities. They've endorsed my cups. I'm very grateful for that. And I strongly believe that the reason why I was selected to be a part of those name brands, if you call it, is because of the brand that I've built. Because of the brand that I built, because of the way that I've showcased the cups, because of the story that I built behind the cups.
And so can you share a few of the people that have endorsed your brand?
Yes. Tiffany Haddish, she loves my cups. Kim Fields, Ana Navarro, Yvette Nicole Brown. So yeah, definitely lots of celebrities.
Who did the first endorsement come from? Who was the very first celebrity endorsement you got?
Tiffany Haddish.
And how did that come about for you?
Because it was during the pandemic.
Okay.
And let's see, the pandemic started in March 2020. At that time, because we were in real estate, my husband's okay. If we need to work literally out of home every day, we need to create an oasis. So we created an oasis in our backyard. We literally went, bought tents, couches, you name it. And I had left it. I had left my phone inside while we were outside, and I get an order, and it says Tiffany Haddish. But I'm like, you know what? Maybe, but I'm still going to treat it as any order as I do. Yeah. And 2 days later, she puts it on her social media. And I was like, oh my goodness. And from then on, I mean, it's been Octavia Spencer. Yeah. Kim Fields loves it. We have a project coming up with her. I'm very excited. Oh, nice. About. So yeah, I've earned their trust enough to love my cups, and they can relate to it.
Yeah. Beautiful. Now, most artists have a creative process when they sit down to create their art. I'm curious, what is your process when you sit down to design a new mug, and where do you find your inspiration for creating your unique designs?
I have different collections that I have available. And so the Afro Glam collection, which is the original collection, that's pretty much set. That I don't anticipate, other than the Girl of the Year, which I do every year. I don't anticipate making too many changes to that particular one. The one that I do make changes to is the Black Excellence collection. Okay. And that one, it's a limited edition cup that comes out once a year in honor of Black History Month. And I honor the African-American women from history. This year was actually Shirley Chisholm. And because it's an election year, and I felt that she needed the spotlight this year for sure. I will mention that, which I have here, this is my Maya Angelou cup. And this one, she was the second one. The first one I inaugurated the collection with was Madam C.J. Walker, because I can relate to her so much. I'd probably be on my deathbed as well, telling my husband what cup I need to do next. And for those of you that don't know her story, please read up on that. And then the second one was Maya Angelou. And the third one was Harriet Tubman. Okay. And this year, the fourth year, was Shirley Chisholm. Beautiful.
Now, as mentioned off the top, let me restart that. You were named an honoree of the 2024 100 Women to Get to Know in America. What was that experience like for you? And what does that distinction mean to you on a personal and a business level?
That was incredibly surprising because I was anonymously nominated, which was amazing as well. And just being there in that room with other women that are just amazing, and they've done such great things with their business, and they've taken their business to the next level. Just being in such an empowered room was very fulfilling. And the fact that I was selected, I mean, it's a very tedious process that you go through, because somebody puts up the nomination, but then you have to go through interviews and submit your credentials and all of that stuff. And this year, I believe there were 400 women that applied. Wow. So to have been selected from that many women is definitely quite the honor. Absolutely.
There was a big gala and all of that.
There was a big gala, yes, because usually what they do is they do a summit in conjunction to the gala. Okay. But because of I had a conflict with my schedule, so I was only able to attend the welcome reception that they had and the gala the following day. I wasn't able to attend the summit. Yeah. And I mean, just at that welcome reception, just the energy of all these amazing women that are doing great things in their business and to uplift other women was incredible. Not to mention that we were in Arizona on a rooftop. It was 98 degrees and my husband and I were loving life because we're like, I can't believe it's so cool up here. Had this be down in South Florida, we'd be dying. So the fact that the weather was amazing, I was like, we could stay here all night.
Yeah.
And so the gala was the following day. And it was just amazing being up on that stage, being recognized for my hard work and just for where I've taken the company.
Yeah. What an incredible achievement. Yes. Absolutely amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, as mentioned off the top, you are a brand consultant. Can you share with us the story of your journey into brand consulting and what inspired you to pursue this type of work?
Yes. So back to when I was a wedding planner, branding wasn't necessarily known as branding as we know it today. Back then, I'm talking about 1997. So it was more of a marketing. And trust me, Brad, when I tell you that I spent a lot of money on marketing because you don't know what you don't know. And back then it was print has always been much more expensive than digital.
Yeah.
And I was really trying to find my voice through the print aspect of marketing, right? And because of the fact that I was very young, I always had to act older. I always had to portray being older because in my goal at that time was that I wanted brides that were spending $100,000 and up. So I wanted luxury weddings. I didn't want just the regular $5,000 wedding, just because that was my personal goal, right?
Yeah.
And because I always had to act older, I always had to portray an older version of myself. That's it. I was still very authentic. I still wore my red lipstick. I still laughed very loud, my Cuban self. And that's what a lot of my customers loved about me. The fact that I was authentic, the fact that I was the loudest one in the room when I needed to be. And because of that's how I developed my brand at that time, right? I always wore a flower in my hair. So I was always known as the flower girl with the red lipstick, the loud laugh, and so forth. So when I brought what I learned in the wedding planning, I brought that into Alicia Boateng Designs with the cups. I knew that I wanted to take the brand to a different level. There are many talented other cup creators out there. And so I just decided that I was going to take that to the next level. I was going to be the one to be on Good Morning America. I was going to be the one to be on the Today Show. And so because of that, I've been able to develop a brand where they can trust, a brand where they know that although the cup may look the same, it's different because there's absolutely no way that each stone is going to go precisely on the same exact position in the cup.
Yeah.
And so that message, I've been able to convey that message through my cups, through my brand, through my pictures, through my photography, through my videos, and so forth.
I love it.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Now, being a minority in a leadership position, I know you face some challenges. What are the most significant challenges that you faced as a minority and as a woman in the entrepreneurial journey, and how did you overcome them?
Again, going back to my younger years, I feel that the biggest challenge that I had back then was my age and just having to prove myself that I am responsible, that I am a business owner, although I am young, although I had young children at the time, I can still make it happen. And it may not always be perfect, but I would always go above and beyond to make sure that they had an excellent experience. Because after all, the experience that you provide to the customer is what really follows along your reputation.
For sure. Absolutely. Now, how have your personal experiences and background shaped your approach to entrepreneurship?
That I will say is still a work in progress. It's still a work in progress because when you're an entrepreneur, every day is a different day. There's no 2 days are the same. Although you may do the same things every day, but there's always a challenge that comes up. There's always something that will shift your schedule a little bit. So you have to be able to just accept it gracefully. And I personally see it as a challenge that God gives me to see how strong I am.
Beautiful. What do you believe are the core elements that make a brand truly memorable and impactful?
The experience that you allow your customers, that you give to your customers. And I can speak for myself. When the customer places an order with me, for example, they immediately receive a thank you email letting them know that we appreciate that. We know that you have options and we appreciate you investing your money into our product. From the minute they place the order up to the time where they deliver it. I mean, I'm all about the details, and maybe I shouldn't be sharing these little secrets, but when they get the package, they open it up, they're gonna smell my scent. I put my perfume in the box.
Okay.
So that they know that this is what Alicia smells like. This is how it looks. And it's all the experience, how they open the cup, when they see it, when they smile, if it makes them feel amazing. That's really the purpose behind it.
Yeah, it's those little personal touches.
Question, the experience for me.
Yeah, that's the most important. It's those personal touches that leave an impact on the customers, that they'll talk about you. And that's the best form of marketing, is word of mouth.
Yes. Amen. Amen.
How do you differentiate then? You mentioned marketing and branding. How do you differentiate between branding and marketing? What is the distinction? Why is the distinction important?
Because branding speaks to the heart and marketing speaks to the mind. And if I can get through to your heart and be relatable, that's one of the reasons why when you go onto my website, you're definitely going to see pictures of my family. You're going to learn things about me. I will tell you that I'm a huge supporter for small businesses. There have been times, and mind you, my husband's on the verge of almost killing me at this point, but I've spent extra amount of money on a t-shirt when I know that I can go and get it at Target for a lot less. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that I'm supporting a small business that satisfies me, it just fills me. It completes me. And if I go onto your website and I go onto your About You page and all you're talking about is we, or there is no picture about you, or I don't even know who the owner is, I'm going to click away.
Yeah.
Because I need to find something that's relatable so that I can invest my money on you. And Beautiful. So I make it a point that on my website, you're definitely going to find out things about me. I have fun facts. I have pictures of my family, all of that stuff. For me, it's important. So I figured that for most of my customers, it's important as well.
For sure. Absolutely. Now, how do you approach branding for a startup versus an established company? What are the key differences in your strategy?
With my branding courses, I really implement critical thinking. And it's not just what color is your logo or what color is your website. No, that's probably one of the last things that we decide on because I really want your brand to represent you and the authenticity to come. And I've had some clients that they're realtors and at the same time they love to cook. Okay, we're going to hone on the fact that you love to cook. What is it you love to cook? And then we'll relate that to real estate and so forth. I've had different customers that have different backgrounds that perhaps they do something on the side that really makes them happy and so forth. So I encourage them to introduce them both.
Okay. Now, in an increasingly digital world, as we talked about when you started, it was print. And how do you ensure that a brand maintains authenticity and that personal touch?
I think video can tell a lot, right? And so I try to I'm going to use myself as an example. So I try to use a lot of videos where it's informational, but it's also talking about me and it's showing my gray hairs. You know what I mean? Because of course I have photo shoots where I think I look amazing and my husband looks amazing. And so, but that's not us every day, right? And so I think it's important for them to see what it is that I look like when my grays are growing out, when I haven't done my hair yet, when I haven't done my nails, you know what I mean? And because everybody, and for the most part, I feel that people live like that.
Yeah. For sure.
They don't necessarily have their hair done every single day or have a full face of makeup and so forth. So I want them to see past that, and I want them to relate to the information that I'm portraying.
Yeah.
That I'm conveying.
What is one of the most critical pieces of feedback you've received from a client, and how did it impact your approach?
That's a great question. I feel that the feedback that I've always received has always been to continue being myself. And there was one point in time where I took that as criticism.
Yeah.
And I was very hard on myself. And they took the time to explain, I'm not criticizing you. I'm actually telling you that this is what we love about you. And so I was able to see that in a different light, and I appreciated that. And ever since then, I was able to focus on what I love about myself, what makes me feel good. And then if I feel good, if I'm good for myself, I'm good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. How would you describe your leadership style, and how has it evolved to where you are now from when you started?
I love to share examples in my stories. And then I also love to hear what their feedback is and see where their perspective is coming from. Because I do understand that everyone learns differently. However, I also understand that if, for example, my husband and I have also consulted, because I don't like the word coach. We've consulted on real estate, and we've been in it for a long time. And if we're sharing our experiences, it's because we've lived through it, and it's almost like errors and omissions. And we've experienced it, and it hasn't worked out for us. So therefore, we're sharing that story with you for a reason. Right. And so I've learned to adapt that type of leadership where I'm not just saying it to say it. I'm saying it because I've lived it. I've experienced it. I continue to live it, and so forth. And I think that's really important because I feel that especially nowadays, there's a lot of people that do call themselves coaches, and they haven't experienced what they're coaching on.
For sure. There's a lot of that out there. Absolutely.
Exactly. And more power to them because they're taking up a position where they're putting themselves out there. However, I feel that if you're going to be discussing something or getting paid to teach someone else to do something, have that experience of your own, and then...
Well, for sure. How can you possibly coach someone on something you haven't even done yourself? You think about people that say they're coaching entrepreneurs on how to become 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs. If you haven't done that yourself, how are you possibly teaching someone how to do that?
Exactly. Honestly, what I find the funniest, and maybe it's not funny, but it's funny to me, how some people, and these are people that I've known throughout my life, they call themselves life coaches, and their life is in shambles. Like, I don't understand that. I really don't. Like, you can't even get your life straight.
Yeah.
And again, disclaimer, because that's my opinion, right? Maybe they're okay with their life being that way, and they are, that's fine. However, on the outside, your life is not put together. It doesn't look put together.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be perfect, but it just doesn't look put together. And how can you sit there and call yourself a life coach and try to help someone else when you can't even get your own? Again, that was my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. We're in agreement on that one. There's a lot of that out there, we'll just say.
Yes.
What advice would you give to aspiring female entrepreneurs who are just starting out?
Super cliche. I'm telling you right now, super cliche. And what I would tell them is don't give up. Don't give up, because I cannot begin to tell you how many no's I get before getting the yes. And that's come with everything in life. That's come with the wedding planner industry. It's come with the luxury hospitality industry. It's certainly come with the cops.
Yeah.
And, I got a lot. It took me 4 years to get onto Good Morning America.
But you did it, though, because you persevered.
Because I said to myself, I am not giving up. This is not a no forever. This is just a no for now.
Yes, that is so important that people realize that no doesn't mean never. It just means this is not the right time right now. And no stands for next opportunity. So There you go.
There you go. I love that.
What impact do you hope that your business will have on the community and society at large?
Again, just making women feel beautiful. I feel that as a woman, we take on a lot. We have a lot of responsibilities. And a lot of times we put others before ourselves. And I also feel that the pandemic did quite the number on us. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And because of the pandemic, it almost forced us to slow down. We had no other choice than to slow down. And we then started taking better care of ourselves. We started paying attention to the little things. We started realizing that if we're not good for ourselves, we're not good for anybody. And I know that I've said that before, but I just feel that's such an important statement to say. And I'm not just talking about physical, I'm talking about mental wellness as well. If I have a very dear friend of mine that she's going through some tough times, and it's all mental. She's been to the hospital several times, and the doctors, you're perfectly fine. You are in the best health of your life right now. She's 48, just like I am, and it's all mental.
Yeah.
It's all mental.
But this is something that women do, though. They put themselves on the back burner all the time. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact of conditioning, parental, all of the societal conditioning. And when you think about it, we're taught to, women especially, taught to put everyone else before themselves, that it's selfish to put yourself first, but it's not. You need to do that in order to be able to give back and support the people in your life, your family, your friends, all of that. If you're not supporting yourself, you're of no use to anybody, least of all yourself.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons why I made the cups the way that I made them. They're not dishwasher safe and they're not microwavable. And the reason being is that I want you to take that 10 minutes that it takes to drink your coffee in peace and quiet, not reheat it 5 times a day. I want you to take those 10 minutes and just think of what your day is going to be like or what you want it to be like. Recite your affirmations. Remind yourself that you're worthy. Remind yourself that you are amazing and that you are going to get through the day. And that's it. Maybe it takes 10 minutes. For others, it might take longer. Whatever it takes, use that time for yourself to get your mind straight, to get ready to tackle the day.
Absolutely. How do you use your platform and success to support and empower other women entrepreneurs?
I am very involved in my community. We're actually very involved in the real estate community as well. My husband is a governor for the Miami Association of Realtors. So he's very involved in that. And we are known as a team. The funny thing about it is that we're known as like the fashionistas in real estate. We're always matching. I usually wear, like, part of my brand is usually wearing a fascinator. And, hopefully your audience will go onto my website and they'll take a look at some of the pictures. But so we're very involved with the real estate community and so forth. I'm very involved with the Women Council of Realtors as well. And a lot of times when the women in those associations see me, they're always coming to ask me questions and see how I can help them and so forth. So I'm always very willing to offer advice.
It's important to give back for sure. That's part of why we're all here, is to impact and give back and help and support others.
Absolutely. I feel that mentoring is such an important part of entrepreneurship, just because when I started my business, I didn't have a mentor.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had to learn everything on my own. My parents were not business owners, so they didn't know. Yeah. And so I didn't necessarily have a mentor, until later on in life.
Yeah.
I feel that's very important.
For sure. What would you say is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? And what was your life like before you learned it? And what was your life like after learning it?
I feel that the most important thing I've learned in my life is to watch out for signs from God. When you're young, sometimes you think about faith and sometimes you don't. It's not. I grew up in a Catholic household, and my mom would literally force us to go to church every Sunday. And I will say that at that young age, it wasn't something that I enjoyed. It wasn't. And later on in life, I found Christ, and it's just changed my life in such an amazing way that the foundation of our marriage is definitely God.
Yeah. What is an unexpected blessing or occurrence in your life that you're grateful for?
My husband. My husband is my voice of reason, although I don't necessarily agree with his delivery, but he is definitely a blessing. He's definitely a blessing. Absolutely.
Who in your life has had the biggest impact on you and why?
My grandmother and my husband. My grandmother, because she would always tell me all these Cuban sayings that I keep repeating myself in my head at this point. And I was like, man, she was right. I didn't want to hear it when I was 16 years old, but now I know why she's saying it. And again, my husband, just because he's been an amazing support and he's not a yes man. And at times that can be very frustrating. However, he likes to say he sees past the corner. Yeah. And I don't. And so he balances that out for me.
Yeah. Beautiful. Balance is important.
Yes.
What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
I feel that my authenticity is what's really allowed me to become successful. And just, I can sometimes be an open book when it comes to experiences that I've had in my life. I love sharing my story. I love sharing the resilience side of me, which God knows I've had a lot of challenges throughout the years. And again, through my faith and through my belief in myself, I've been able to overcome those challenges. And that's really what's allowed me to become successful.
Beautiful. And speaking of success, how do you define that word? What does success mean to you?
Success, I don't really have a definition for success, just because as an entrepreneur, I always want more. And so if I'm able to get through the day, that for me is success.
What does the word empowerment mean to you?
The word empowerment means the feeling that you have about yourself and how you show up on that stage, feeling and looking and whatever. I usually encourage women to whatever makes them feel beautiful. If having purple hair makes them feel gorgeous, then by all means, rock that purple hair. Yeah, it's how you're going to show up, how that light is going to shine when you walk into that room.
Yes.
That's empowerment.
Love it. Okay, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section. So the next grouping of questions just be 1, 2, 3 word answer type thing, okay?
Okay.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
Radiant.
What is your favorite self-care practice?
My manifestation time in the morning with my coffee.
Of course, the coffee.
Yes.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
To be kind.
What is one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
Patience.
That's a very important skill set as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
If you could be remembered for one thing, what would that be?
My red lipstick.
All right. What is one thing you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance?
One thing I love about myself, the fact that I try to see the good in people, although it's probably so obvious that the good is not there. The good is not there. But I do try to see the good in people.
Yeah. That concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I threw in a question that I did not send to you ahead of time. I call it my bonus question. If you could take one feeling or one belief and bottle it up and give it to people, what would that belief be or feeling?
The power of believing in yourself, honestly, because if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to be you're not capable of doing much. If you don't believe that you can walk that mile every day, then you're not going to walk the mile every day. If you don't believe that you're able to drive for 6 hours without taking a break, I mean, I'm being silly right now, but just, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. So believe in yourself and everything else will come along.
Yeah. What is your why, Alicia?
My family is my why. Our little one, he's 8 years old, and he sees the other ones. Obviously, the older ones, they're out of the house already. But when they were in the house, they saw how hard we worked. Yeah. However, I feel that my little one is, because he's now here by himself, he sees it more often, how hard we work, the things that we need to do on an everyday basis to keep the machine going.
Yeah.
And, he's watching. He's definitely watching.
Yeah.
So he's definitely my why.
Yeah. If you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
What brand of coffee do I drink?
Okay, there you go. Answer your question.
I feel like I always give them free advertising, but it's
Barney's Coffee?
Barney's Coffee. And my favorite flavor is Santa's White Christmas. And luckily, it's available throughout the whole year.
If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
My grandmother. Why? Because there's a saying in Spanish that says, the devil knows more for being old than for being the devil.
Can you say it in Spanish?
El diablo sabe más por diablo viejo. Okay. And that's a literal translation. And actually, I said it wrong. El diablo sabe más por viejo que por diablo. Meaning that they've lived all the experiences and so forth. And my grandmother has quite the story. She had quite the story. She brought her entire family from Cuba, and they went to go live in New England, not knowing first of all, coming from the Caribbean, going to snow. I never had seen snow, not knowing the language, literally 12 of them living in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Wow.
Working at a factory until they were able to each get everyone on their feet and so forth. So yeah, I would definitely love to have a 1-hour conversation with her and just hear more of her stories.
Yeah. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
To have patience, because things will come in time. And it's always God's timing. It's not your timing.
Lastly, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your tribe, your corner of the world, your people, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart? To
be kind, to empower those that surround you, and to make it a point to laugh every day. Laughter keeps you young.
It does, for sure, as you show us. Alicia, thank you so much for taking and making the time to be here with me today to share a little bit about your journey, your story, and the beautiful light you put out into the world through the work you're doing. I appreciate you. I am so grateful to have you as a member of the Empowerography community. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That was so much fun.
My pleasure and my honor. I'm glad you enjoyed the experience. Yes. Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Alicia Boateng. She is the founder and owner of Alicia Boateng Designs, a brand consultant, a speaker, a mother of 4, and a wife. Thank you so much, Alicia. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.